Hello students, today we will study the chapter Electoral Politics in class 9th CBSE. Let's take a look at what we will cover in this chapter. We take a look at how democratic representatives are elected, what is the process involved, what are the different stages of elections, what is the need of elections, and how elections are useful in a democracy. Why should we conduct elections in any country, and what purpose does it serve in a democracy? Next, what is the importance of electoral competition in the lives of peoples? What do people gain out of the competition between political parties? How their interests are looked after in this process of elections, and how it ensures that the general good of the voters is taken care of. What is the difference between democratic and non-democratic elections? We find countries conducting different types of elections, some real and some farce, but all call themselves democracies. We take a look to differentiate between democratic and non-democratic elections. We will discuss the different yardsticks on which we call an election democratic or non-democratic. We will also take a look at different stages of elections and what are the activities that take place at each stage of election. We discuss about declaration of elections, nomination, campaigning, voting, counting of votes, and declaration of results. We also discuss the meaning of free and fair elections and how they are held in India. Now, this is really important. Here we also take a look as how we ensure that no malpractices are taking place in elections and that elections are held in a free and fair manner so as to ensure true democracy. And finally, in the chapter, we will be discussing the role of the constitutional body that conducts elections in a huge country like India, the Election Commission of India. We will talk about its role in ensuring free and fair elections. Now, children, this is the body which looks after conducting the elections in our country. It has set standards by its working. Today, it is a 3-member commission which leaves no stone unturned to ensure that the Indian elections are a real reflection of the will of the Indian voter. Now, children, the next topic is why elections. Your chapter in the book starts with a newspaper cutting report on assembly elections in Haryana in 1987. As you know, the elections in our country are widely reported by the media. It is one such report in a newspaper. It says that an expectant crowd of people are waiting for their leader to arrive and address them. It has been over 5 hours since they are waiting, and the organizers are pacifying them that their leader would arrive any moment. The person awaited for here is Mr. Devilal, the leader of the Haryana Sangharsh Samiti. Now he has had a very busy schedule that day, with around 9 rallies already addressed since morning. Now this has been his routine for around 23 months. That is nearly 2 years. Now this seems that leaders put so much amount of toil, such a great amount of hard work into ensuring that their party or their allies win the elections, so that they are able to form the next government. Now the background of assembly in Haryana. The state has been ruled by the Congress party since 1982. Now Chaudhry Devilal, who was the opposition leader then, he started a Nyaya Yudh, that is struggle for justice, and formed a party known as Lok Dal. His party was joined over by some other opposition parties and they made a coalition. In the election campaign, Devilal said that if his party won the elections, his government would do what? It would just waive off the loans of farmers and small businessmen. Means whatever they have taken from banks or government, etc., they need not have to return it anymore. He promised that this would be the first action of his government. Now children, Indian political parties have been very smart. They have been promising freebies to the voters in every election. They know that this is the easiest way that they can win an election. So this was what was done in Haryana also. And the voter was easily caught in that bait. He was so carried away by these promises that he voted overwhelmingly for the Lok Dal party, and it won a landslide victory. Now what happened? The results. Lok Dal and its partners won 76 seats out of 90 seats in the state assembly. Lok Dal alone won 60 seats, which shows that it was a landslide victory. The Congress that was in power till that day could manage a meager 5 seats. Now after these elections were announced, election results were announced, the chief minister of the day resigned. The new MLAs elected Devilal as their leader. The governor of the state invited Devilal as the chief minister and swore him. All this was done within 3 days of the election results being declared. And the first thing that Devilal did as chief minister was that his government issued a GO, a government order, waiving the outstanding loans of small farmers agricultural laborers and small businessmen. His party ruled the state for 4 years, and they thought that they had fulfilled people's promises and people were more than happy with them. So in the next elections that were held in 1991, it was just 4 years since the assembly. 1 year was still left for the assembly term to end, but the government of the day thought that they had done enough. So they thought they would bounce back. So they went for simultaneous polls along with the center. But this time the voter was smart enough. His party did not win popular support then. The Congress won these Haryana elections and formed the government. Now children, these sequence of events in Haryana, they go on to show the beauty of democratic elections in India. Here the voters decide who will be ruling over them by casting their votes. The governments of the day readily accept the people's mandate and promptly resign if they lose elections. The elected MLAs elect their leader, who is sworn in as the chief minister. He goes on to fulfill their promises made in the election manifesto. When the next elections are announced, people again have the same choice, whether to accept or reject the government of the day. Here we see that the governments easily and readily accept the mandate of the people who have voted for them in the elections. Now this shows a strong belief in our system of elections. This shows how deep rooted Indian democracy is. Now children, this slide talks about the need for elections. As you know, elections take place regularly in any democracy. We know that there are more than 100 countries in the world where elections take place. Elections are also held in many countries that are non-democratic. But why do we need elections? Let us try to imagine a democracy without elections. The rule of the people is possible without any election only if all the people can sit together every day and take all the decisions. Now children, this is a very gigantic task. It is not easily accomplishable. This is just not possible in any large community. And if we also think that it is possible, do you think people have the time and knowledge to take decision on all matters? Therefore, in most democracies, people rule through their representatives. Now the question arises, is there a democratic way of selecting representatives without elections? Maybe we can think of such a way of selection, maybe on the basis of age and experience, or choose our leaders on the basis of education, their knowledge, or their wealth, or any other criteria. But we know it will not be easy to decide who is more experienced or knowledgeable. But can people resolve these difficulties? And probably such a place does not require elections if people can do it there. But the basic question is, can we call this place a democratic place? Can it be called a true democracy? How will we ensure that these representatives rule us as per the wishes, as per our wishes, whatever we had wanted the country to be? How to ensure that those people who had been rejected by the electorate do not bounce back into the government as their representatives? Now, all this needs a way by which people can choose their representatives at regular intervals and change them if they feel so. Now, this is that mechanism which is called as election. Hence, elections are considered essential in our times. Now, let us see what makes elections democratic and what are the choices that voter makes. The voter chooses who will make laws for him. He chooses who will form the government and who will be making the major policy decisions for him. He can choose the party whose policies he feels will be correct and therefore will guide the government and law-making process. Here we can also think of the reason why rulers in non-democratic countries need to conduct elections in their countries. Probably it is just to prove that they are elected representatives